Greetings, you tasty mortals. My name is Diversity Plague, and I am here to eat you with an AM2R video. Now, AM2R is an acronym for Another Metroid 2 Remake. Now, many people have actually, I really hope this is actually going through just fine for all channels, but anyway, I have actually had to record this 2 times already, so I am going to be recording over my gameplay footage, mainly for the reason that I have not been able to successfully, hang on, there, that should get rid of any white noise or anything that is not necessary for this video. But anyways, wow, I actually have nothing to talk about because I actually have to watch my video all over again. I am not having a good time with recording anything at all. I mean, Audacity is a very good program, don't get me wrong, but it seems that I have to keep going through a lot of trouble just to bring you quality sound when it comes to me speaking. So, with that said, I am going to go ahead and commentate on my video from the point of the beginning. Now, as you can see, I'm grinning like the freaking Joker, mainly for the reason, and I wish that the recording had worked on the first time I was recording it, the soundtrack that was playing at the beginning, where Samus is docking on the station in the first Metroid Prime game, it just brought back so many memories of how badass the bounty hunter is. Now, I have played this game to the Machine Factory if you've seen my first save file, and that was because I thought I had played 3 hours, okay? 3 hours of this game when really it was stuck on preview. Now there are going to be points in this video where I am 100% completely silent because I want to enjoy the music and the gameplay, and I would run out of things to talk about really quickly. Now, I go about explaining the controls in that you can aim and move with the left directional button on the Xbox 360 controller, and yes, a controller is required for playing this game because otherwise you would have to navigate with just the keyboard and mouse, which I think you can do, but I'm not going to test that. And you can turn on and turn off all of Samus's abilities from the start menu and her suit menu options. You can change into the morph ball with the right trigger. You have the B button to switch between your missile options as they become available, and so on. So I am going to be cutting out pieces of this audio recording, so that way you don't have to listen to the white noise or listen to anything unnecessary that isn't me. That way this footage stays 100% purely me. So I'm going to go ahead and head off so that you can enjoy the gameplay, and anything that does not pique my interest I will not talk about. But before we get there, this footage does show me acquiring the Charge Beam and Spider Ball, and I will talk about those real quick. In that the Charge Beam works in the same way as it does in Metroid Prime, in where it draws in like missile and health refills or reloads, and also deals more damage. So the Charge Beam does have the same function as in the Prime games, but the Spider Ball, it operates. In this game, it operates on any surface at any time. Whereas in the Prime games, not so much, you needed Spider Ball tracks. Now, whether Nintendo had the developers to be able to do this, I will never know. But it doesn't help the fact that if the developer for this remake fan game, if he had more time, he could have made this game something Nintendo could have hired him for. But no, they took down the game and they didn't hire him. Why they didn't hire him when Sega hired a guy that made a Sonic fan game, I'll never know. Now, to cover the substance that you saw in the room previous to this before I covered the Metroids, the substance that you saw in the room prior to this, to my knowledge, is some form of, I want to say it's the equivalent of the fuel gel that you would see in Metroid Prime 3 on the planet of Brio. And as you fight these evolved Metroids, the tectonic plates don't shift much, but they do shift enough from the conflict that this hazardous substance drains into the lower levels. Now, to the Metroids before I stop talking for a good bit and probably edit portions of where I don't move, the Metroids have multiple evolutionary stages until you eventually hit the stages where they are at their strongest, which is Omega, and only one or two of them, specifically just one, is a queen. Now, the Metroids are quite similar to the Xenomorphs in terms of their role being a predator type species, but they can't propagate themselves with anything. Now, they can lay eggs, but they don't really need anything. The Metroids, given time, can evolve into, and I hope I get this in the correct order, why did I say order? Alpha, Beta, Zeta, Omega, and Queen. Now, I hope I got all of those in the right order and all of them in general. If not, I will have their order placed on the screen, and I will have the developer of this game at the starting menu to where anyone who wants to know who the developer of this game is can look him up and see how far he's gotten. But I'm going to tell you right now, Nintendo had this game shut down by the time version 1.1 was released. So no later versions of this game are going to be coming out. There's going to be no updates to this game, period. Nintendo made sure that this game was absolutely 100% shut the fuck down. And honestly, that pisses me off to no end. I wanted to see what this game could become and how far it could expand upon itself and on its lore. Now granted, it does make a few mistakes like the first game because this is a remake. Why did I say first? This is a remake of the second game, and just like the second game, it has its fair share of mistakes. So you can't really do much when you have that many mistakes, but because this guy put so much effort into it, it feels like a true remake. I mean, even you saw that real quick. Samus has her own idle animations. Like right there. She has her own idle animations. And that just shows how much care the developer put into this game. So with that said, I am going to cut this conversation a little bit until we get to a point where I do need to talk again. Okay, I actually remember this portion because I've had to record this twice over. I made a mistake right here when I jumped into the lava and I was trying to get Samus to grab the ledge, only to fail for so long that I had only 45 health. But to my fortune, there was a save station later on in this area that literally saved my ass. So I guess now would be a good time, as I need to end the voiceover right now because I've done this twice and I would like to know if it's going to go through. And if it doesn't go through, then I am going to do a completely new video where I left off on my first save file. So thank you mortals so much for watching this video. If you liked it, smack that like button in the face like a beast, give that subscribe button a smack to the face if you are enjoying this channel, and please leave a comment below to tell me what I could have done better in terms of recording this video, if at all. But until then, I will infest all of you in the next video!